Okay. You did it. Let's make you a little bigger. Okay, now I can see you nicely. So welcome everyone. Welcome back after our Thanksgiving Canada break. And tonight we are working with the hips again. And with the hips, we also get into second chakra stuff, as we say in yoga, which has to do with emotions, transformation, and creativity. So just taking your seat, I'm going to try lying down this way tonight. See how that works. And you can just start with your feet at the wall, or if you prefer, you can bend the knees. Just kind of check in with your body, how it's feeling, whether you need any more support. You could do this class lying on your bed, so just keep that in mind if lying on the floor is not working for you. And just placing your hands on your hips, you can feel those hip bones, and then towards your center. And you can create a diamond shape, if you like, around your navel, pointing down to your pelvic floor. And just breathing into your belly. Inhale. Exhale, draw the belly in, make a ha sound. Keep this going in your own timing. And as you exhale, if you can exhale from the pelvic floor up to the belly button. So this classical way of engaging this mula bandha, or this root lock. Inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor. Lower belly, belly button in, and draw everything in and up. Inhale. You can think of it like zipping up a pair of jeans, if that helps you. Inhale. So you inhale, the lower back moves away from the floor. As you exhale, your lower back moves to the floor. You can keep exhaling with the mouth open, or add Brahmari, the bee breath. Inhale. And if it feels appropriate for you, you can add an om to this, and you can put one hand on your heart and the other on your belly as you do this. You might stretch your legs out. Inhale into the heart and then into the belly. Inhale, heart and then belly. And then if you like, placing your hands on your hips and perhaps making an intention to do with emotional freedom, with transformation, with letting go of a particular emotion that seems to stand in your way of freedom. So, for example, may I experience endless joy. May I experience, and you can fill in the blank, emotional freedom if you want to keep it larger. Very specific is usually more useful. And when you're ready, just starting to move our arms. So your legs can be bent or they can be straight. Tadaka Mudra. Inhale, arms coming up. Now your arms can come to a bolster behind you or to the floor. Your chin can tuck in if that's comfortable. Some of you should have a pillow under your head, especially if your chin is sticking up like this. So make sure that you have that nice alignment. When you're ready, inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, arms coming down, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale from the top down or just the belly. Inhale, expand into the chest and then into the belly. Perhaps the chin nods down. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Feel the lower back moving into the floor. As you inhale, feel the back move away from the floor, the whole back. Inhale into the upper chest, lower chest, full belly. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. And then starting to move your hips. So for this next one, I'm going to fold my mat in half. You don't have to do this. I just prefer to slide on the floor. So your choice. Okay. So we're going to just start with one leg bent because I know a number of you have lower back pain and you prefer having your legs bent. So let's try one leg bent and the other straight. So I'm starting with the left leg straight, the right leg bent. Inhale, the left arm coming up. And I'm going to point my toes away and stretch my hand away. Now it might be on a bolster or a pillow. And stretch through that hip. As I inhale, as I exhale, I'm going to drag the leg into the chest. This is also good for the knee. Inhale, stretch the leg to the sky. We've already done this term. Exhale, bend the knee into the chest. Inhale, extend the leg out. And point the toes away and really stretch through the whole side of that left hip and lower back. Just keep that going. Exhale. With your core strength, can you pull your leg in? Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. And the leg comes in. You can also hug it into the chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale, drawing in.
And inhale, extending out and perhaps pointing away. Keep this going. Exhale, dragging in. Perhaps flexing the toes as you do this. Inhale to the sky. I'm going to point my toes as I do this. You could flex them. Exhale, flexing, drawing the leg in, perhaps hugging it in. And inhale, extending out nice and long. And stretch that whole side of the body. Just one more time. Exhale, drawing in. So this is for the hip, the lower back, and the knee. Inhale, extending up. Again, the foot could be flexed or pointed. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, extending out. Exhale, bend and rest. And we're going to do the other side. Inhale, extend that right leg long, point the toes, arm coming up and stretch away, stretching the whole right side of the bodies. Feel that into the hip, the lower back. Exhale, using the core, draw the leg in. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, bringing that leg in to the chest. Ekapada Apanasana. Inhale, Ekapada Urdhva Prastrita Padasana. Just saying the names for those who want to learn them. Exhale, drawing in. And inhale, extending out. Stretch that hip. So having this other knee bent can help you get into that right hip a bit more. Exhale, flexing the toes, drawing the leg in, using the core strength. Hopefully you're feeling a little shaking there. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, drawing in, maybe hugging the knee into the chest. This is for the lower back. And inhale, stretching that hip. This is to help with any unevenness in the hips. Most of us have one hip higher than the other. Exhale, drawing in. It's our last time. You do this 4 to 6 times. Inhale, extend up. Again, you could flex the toes or point. Exhale, drawing in. And inhale, stretching out. Exhale, bend the knee and just rest, perhaps with the feet apart, angle the knees in and just rest here for a moment. Hands can be on those hips. And just feel the rise and fall of the belly. So the last chapter of the Yoga Sutras, the most important text in yoga, is called Kaivalyam, which means freedom. But you don't get to freedom until you do chapter 2, which is all about removing the kleshas, or the obscurations of the mind, those clouds of emotion and experience that keep us from being free. So as you lie here, you might say to yourself, inhale, let, exhale, go. And you might have a particular emotion or something that blocks your freedom. You might bring that to mind. Or just simply inhale, let, exhale, go. So the whole process of yoga is one of cleaning the system so that that natural experience of joy, freedom, peace can just be there, just naturally arise, like a river flowing. When you're ready, straighten both legs if you can for a minute. Then we're going to get into those hips in a slightly different way. So bending the knees, if that works for you, and you're going to try opening one side at a time. So inhale, opening your left hip. Exhale, draw it to the center. Now again, use your core strength to draw the leg to the center, pelvic floor all the way to the belly button. Inhale, inhaling from the chest to the belly, or just the belly if that is too complicated. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in as you draw the knees together. Just keep this going. You might find that you get more hip opening than you're accustomed to if you do one at a time. Certainly the case for me. I was really surprised when I first did this exercise. It's like, oh, my left hip opens when it's by itself. So this is a way of getting more range of motion in those hips. Just keep this going. Inhale, opening, exhale, centering. As you exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. You can, inhaling from the chest to the belly. You've all been with me a while, so just going into that more advanced breath technique. Moving slowly and mindfully. And just finishing off your last round left to right. All right, now we're going to try both hips. Now, some of you might want to use blocks or a pillow underneath your legs to have as landing pads for the hips, especially if you have one hip that opens differently than the other and it kind of shifts you over. So that's an option. You could have two little pillows, or you could put a bed pillow underneath your legs, or you can just go freestyle if you prefer. I'm going to use my blocks today. So inhale, opening. This is a classical pose called Supta Baddha Konasana. And again, the arms here, they're optional. Your arms could be here instead, or you could have a bolster behind you, or you could just bend your elbows like this as you inhale and exhale. That position might be better for your shoulders. Inhale, coming to your place with your arms as you open those hips to your place. Exhale, start to exhale and then start to move. As you engage from the pelvic floor up. So if you do this really slowly, it's also a core exercise, surprisingly, and it can be wonderful for the reproductive system. This can be used for incontinence, for bladder issues, can be used for issues of, as I said, the reproductive system as well. That also is a wonderful therapy for the hips, the SI joints, as you exhale, try to move from the pelvic floor to the belly button, as if you're zipping up a pair of jeans. Your lower back will move into the floor. As you inhale, your lower back is going to move away from the floor as you arch the back. And just finishing up after you've done around 6 rounds. And just rest. You might rest with your feet wide, your knees angled in, or your legs straight, whatever feels like a more of a rest for you. Inhale, let, exhale, go, perhaps touching that second chakra area, the hips. We know physiologically that we hold tension often in this area. When we haven't been able to flee from something in the past that made us feel unsafe, this area probably got ready to flee, but wasn't able to, and that can become frozen in time and can become pain in the body. It's very interesting how the mind in the end is quite non-localized. We're learning more about this. So we can access these things through the body without even understanding them, which is really wonderful. So when you're ready, just a counter pose, bringing your knees into your chest. You're going to inhale, open the hips. We're going to do a circular apanasana and exhale, knees into the chest. Inhale, opening, and exhale, gathering together and in. If you get confused on the breath, just think about exhale as compressing and inhale as opening. And if you like changing directions, inhale, opening the knees, exhale, draw them in and then together. Just notice any discomfort you might be having in your hips or your lower back or your knees. You can also hold underneath the knees. If you've got knee issues, that might feel better. Some of you have got knee replacements and arthritis in the knees, so feel free to modify. And if it's comfortable, staying in apanasana, knees to chest, holding on top or underneath. Just resting here. This is compressing your hips. For some people, that's very uncomfortable. Just stay with your feet down and angle your knees in to take the pressure off the hip flexors. All right, so we're going to start moving into some rotation now. A little bit more this way. All right, so just make sure you've got room around you to move your knees side to side. So inhale, center. Exhale, bringing the knees to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to your right. Just that. It's the version of Jatra Parivriti. And you might want to have your mat unfurled for this one for more comfort. So I'm going to do that in my case, just make it a bit more comfortable for the toes. And you could just be lying on a carpet or on a bed. So when I travel and I'm in hotel rooms that are very small, I do a yoga practice on the bed that is similar to what we're doing tonight, all these supine practices. So I remember doing that in this very tiny room in northern India, wearing about 10 layers and with a down comforter over me as I did my yoga. Things you do in your early 30s. Just notice the effect of this on your hips, your lower back. I really notice this on my thighs, which tend to be tight, especially if you do a lot of walking. And just finishing up. And we're going to take this a little deeper still. So inhale, center. You're going to bring your left knee towards your right big toe. Keep the right knee facing up. So you can get a bit more into that thigh. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. So again, if you have bunions or anything, this might be uncomfortable. You can add another mat or even a blanket under your feet. Or do this in your bed. See if you can go a little bit more into the thigh, the front of the hip. Doing around 6 rounds left to right. When you feel complete, just stay at the center and rest. Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat. If that's comfortable for you, you can always add the humming breath at any time to help you lengthen the exhale. Okay, I'm going to just take a break for a moment. Angle those knees in, hands on the hips. Inhale, let, exhale, go. So this yoga practice is definitely a physical therapy, but ultimately it's meant to be a therapy for our mind and emotions so that we can attain a freedom that will extend into our whole system, including our bodies, our minds, our emotions. When you're ready, you're going to bring your left ankle over your right knee, if that's comfortable. Now, don't force the opening. So some of you won't be able to open very much, and that's fine. So you're going to inhale, open the knee, and exhale, you're going to cross it with your other hand over. Just that to begin with. Inhale, open, and exhale, cross. This is one that I've used with knee replacements a lot, but it's actually really nice just for gently getting into the hips. This one's from Chennai, from my teacher Sridhar. You might feel a nice stretch on the outside of the hip as you do this, and then the inside. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, as you inhale, you can twist to the left. Sorry, that's exhale. Inhale, center, and exhale, twist the other direction. And when you go the other direction, you can grab the ankle. Inhale, center, and you can open that hip. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center, opening the hip if you want. Exhale, twist, and grab that left ankle. These are just options if you want to make it a little bit harder. Otherwise, you can just inhale, open, exhale, cross. Just decide which version works best for your body. Pausing between inhale and exhale. And switching sides when you're ready. So we're just gonna start with the simple version, all of us. Inhale, opening that right hip. And exhale, cross the knee over. And using the left hand to bring it towards that left shoulder. You feel the stretch on the outside of the hip. Inhale, stretching the inside of the hip. That's the external rotation. And exhale, internal rotation. So these are the two ways the hip moves. And if that's feeling easy, you might want to try going a little further. Inhale, opening the hip. Exhale, twisting to your right, keeping that hip open. Inhale, center opening. And exhale, coming to the other side with your other hand, maybe grabbing the ankle. That's optional to get a stretch on the outside of the hip. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Let's keep this going. Your own timing. And just one more. And come to the center. Exhale, knees to the chest. Inhale, legs to the sky. Now you can hold underneath your knees if you like. Exhale, knees to the chest. Or you can add your arms overhead. Inhale, legs up, arms up. This is an add-on. Exhale, knees to the chest. Now, if you want to add on further to add a little bit more core work, inhale, extend up. Exhale, touch those toes down and draw in. Now in yoga, the core is called Mula Bandha. It's actually an energetic lock from the pelvic floor to the belly button. However, it is involved with some musculoskeletal stuff, pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis, which is very helpful for lots of reasons, including stabilizing the hips, the lower back. Hopefully you can feel both of those things happening energetically and physically. And this is also wonderful for the knees, working on tracking of the knees, getting that synovial fluid moving through the knees, getting absorbed. And just resting in Apanasana if that's comfortable, or feet apart, knees in, whatever you choose. And just resting here, perhaps if you're in the pose with your feet down, hands on the hips. Inhale, let, exhale, go. So these kleshas that the yogis and the Buddhists talk about cover the clarity of the mind. The first one is ignorance, just not seeing things clearly, misperception. That's the root cause of all of our problems. Just not seeing things clearly. Next one is egotism. We identify with everything except who we really are deep inside of ourselves. Next one is about desire or wanting what is not good for us. So wanting something that is not going to serve us and that does not last. Next one is pushing away something that is good for us, usually in the form of anger or frustration. Pushing away something that is not, that would be good for us. And the last one is fear. This is the hardest one to conquer. So if any of those ring true, add that to your meditation. May I let go of fear. May I let go of arrogance. May I let go of misperception. May I let go of insatiable wants and desires for things that don't serve me. You might think of one in particular, some craving now. And may I let go of aversion or anger or frustration, pushing away what is, pushing away something that's serving me. It's from the second chapter of the Yoga Sutras, verse 3. When you're ready, we're going to move back into the physical realm of the hips. So we're going to do a little bit of strength work now for the hips. So after talking about all those kleshas, when we let go of some of those, at least even for a moment in our lives, we experience balance. And this next pose is called the Sleeping Vishnu pose. I'm very fond of this pose. And I have found it extremely helpful for my hips and many of my clients and students. So classically, the legs are straight and the lower arm is like this, or actually like this. And classically, you're holding your big toe and coming to the sky. So we are not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing a version to strengthen the hips. So you're going to bend the lower leg. It's called Anantasana. Ananta means harmony. So you're going to stretch that top leg as you inhale, stretch it away. And as you exhale, you're going to bring it up. And I'm going to add the arm if that works. Now, if this arm position is not working, you can use a pillow under the ear and just have your arms in front. So inhale, extend. And by having this lower leg bent, like we did in the first exercise today, you can decompress that hip. And exhale, bring your leg up, keep the knee facing forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring the leg up. And just keep this going in your own time. If your hip gets tired, take a break in fetal position. Side child's pose. I'm going to do this around 6 times. Hopefully you're getting some decompression in that hip, into the hip flexors, the psoas. And it's also strengthening the outside of the hip. This can also help with knee issues. By getting the hips more aligned. Okay, let's take a break. So in side child's pose, with both knees bent, just take a break. And we're going to go to the other side. So you're going to extend that top leg. I think we did this a couple of weeks ago. And again, I've got my lower arm, got my ear on it, but you could use a block or a pillow underneath your head and just your arms in front. Okay, so just make a good choice for your body. Inhale, extending that top leg long. I'm bringing my palms together if I can. My lower leg is bent. Exhale, bring the leg up. My knee is facing front. And inhale, extend. And decompress that hip, so I'm stretching it as long as I can, pointing my toes. And exhale, bringing the leg up. So just keep this going. Doing around 6, taking a break if it's too much. And just finishing up. And break and side child. Just notice if one hip felt weaker than the other. It's quite common. All right, so we're going to switch sides. We're going to do another round of this in a different way. So I know the flipping around is the hardest part of the exercise. Okay. So on the first side, you're going to stick your leg out in front if you can. And you're going to inhale, lift it up. Now in this case, I'm just leaving my top hand here. I'm not bringing it up and down, just leaving it here. Inhale, leg up, and my toes are pointing down. Exhale, bringing the leg down. And then I'm going to imagine that I'm like a clock, like the hands of a clock. I'm moving my leg from 12 o'clock to about 3 o'clock, depending on how you're looking at your clock. Inhale up, exhale down. Now keep your knee facing to the side. Don't let the knee go up to the sky. And if anything, have the toes pointing down and you'll get into that deep hip. You'll get into that glute med, which tends to get weak in all of us as we age. It's one of those wonderful things of genetics and aging. And it's probably working your hip a little bit differently than the last exercise, which was more about decompression. This one's all about strength. And if this is too much, you can just do clamshells if you know what those are. That's the modification. All right, let's give you a break. Probably getting pretty sore. We're going to go to the other side. Okay, so starting with the legs bent, and I have got one arm under my ear. I'm going to start with that leg straight in front of me at about the 3 o'clock. Inhale, leg up with the toes pointed down, exhale down. And just keep that going. I'm always amazed how hard this exercise is. I just keep doing it, but this area of the body does tend to get weak and it causes all sorts of trouble. So weak core, weak hips can also cause knee problems and even feet problems and definitely lower back problems. And this can just be a muscular skeletal problem, nothing emotional. This could just be plain old aging. So working with fall prevention here, very important as we age. And if you get tired, take a break because it's pretty intense. Do to about 80% of your capacity and then take a break. This one you can take home, I hope. All right. So let's stretch those hips out after all that work. Let's bring the legs in, happy baby, as this is called in the West. There's no such pose in Sanskrit. Inhale, legs up, exhale, legs in. Now, if you can't hold your feet, you can hold behind your thighs. Inhale, extend, exhale, bend. You're trying to keep your feet up to the sky and your thighs in, so your lower back is getting a nice stretch. If you can, you hold your calves or your feet or your big toes. If you can't do any of those things, just hold your thighs. I know you can all do that. This for the lower back, for the hips. Just a reset. And so do those windshield wipers side to side. Inhale, center, exhale, side as another counter. You might experience more range of motion now than you did at the beginning of the class. If you want to take this one up a notch, and cross one leg over the other. So we'll start with the left leg over the right. Inhale here, exhale, coming towards your left. Inhale, center, exhale, right. And you can add some hands on the legs to increase the stretch, similar to one we did earlier, but a little more intense. Doing around 6 rounds or until you feel complete. Just finishing out. We're going to go to the other side. The right over the left. Inhale, center, exhale to your right. Inhale, center, exhale to your left. And again, you can add the hand just to get a bit more of a stretch if you want. You could have blocks that use as landing pads at each side, or a pillow on each side that you bring your knees to. And just finishing up. Feet wide, angle the knees in, rest. All right, we're going to do one more hip opener. So I'm going to use a block underneath my buttocks for this one. You can use a pillow and you put it no higher than the waist. Cross your left leg over the right, as we did earlier. Bring your knees to your chest. And maybe hold your ankles above your ankles and try to splay your legs apart a bit to stretch the piriformis, which I know at least one of you tends to be tight. That can cause back problems. Inhale, release by just bringing the feet down and the knees slightly away. And exhale, try to bring those knees towards you. The feet are up and you're pulling them towards you and getting into that left hip in particular. So it's the lower hip that gets the big stretch. Some of you might like to hold the feet. It's a variation of Apanasana for the hips. And it a little bit like a Supta Gomukhasana, cow pose, cow face pose. This is usually done seated, this cross-leg position. And it's a wonderful stretch for the hips, the piriformis, without hurting the knees. You don't have to have this block underneath the buttocks, but it just gives you a bit more range of motion for most people. Some people might not like that. I'm going to switch sides, doing around 6. So again, you can just hold the shins wherever you can. Inhale, knees away, exhale, knees towards you. Trying to feel the stretch in the right hip this time. That's my leg that's underneath. Try different variations of holding till you find what allows you to feel it most in your body. And when you feel complete, just coming out of that, we're just going to rest now. Our last Shavasana relaxation. You can put blocks or a pillow underneath the thighs or the knees, or you can use nothing. I like to put my feet on my baseboard to keep my hips even. Classically, the feet are just naturally turning out. And just resting here. Perhaps holding the hips. We're just going to chant those kleshas, those obscurations. That in yoga and Buddhism, there's a lot of focus on letting go of those so that we can experience vivekam, wisdom. And that wisdom is a precursor to kaivalyam, freedom. Avidya asmita raga dvesha abhinivesha klesha avidya asmita raga dvesha abhinivesha klesha avidya asmita raga dvesha abhinivesha klesha. May we let go of misperception, arrogance, or false identification. wanting what is not good for us and rejecting what is good for us. And fear of the unknown. To close hands of the heart. So we let go of these negative emotions or misperceptions. May we experience more peace in our hearts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. Namaste, Namaskaram.